Hello to all you vacation rental pioneers out there. My name's Matt Landau, and this is Unlocked, the podcast series that introduces you to the world's leading vacation rental innovators by diving deep into one single key, one specific best practice or technique that opened the door and changed the game. Durk Johnson is a housekeeping guru. He's the director of the Vacation Rental Housekeeping Professionals, but he's also a consummate systems thinker. He's always looking for a way to temptatify something or create a framework that can be followed and scaled. I met up with Durk in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand after VRMA International. Our interview explores his follow-the-wall process. It's one step of his greater housekeeping methodology. It's one step to a more consistent and predictable vacation rental future. Here's me and Durk. This is Unlocked. My name's Matt Landau. What is your name, sir?
My name is Durk Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of the Vacational Housekeeping Professionals.
And that is your technical role. But what is it in a more broad sense? Where do you see yourself in the general vacation rental industry? What is your responsibility?
I have a tagline that I use, Housekeeping Guru.
Housekeeping Guru.
Yep.
And you have a very strong opinion on where housekeepers fit into this industry.
I most definitely do. Yes, sir, I do. They are the face of the company. They are the ones who can help the vacation rentals or the hosts, whomever, carry that brand forward. And they are pivotal and key to everything that takes place in the vacation rental world.
And is that to say that they oftentimes go underappreciated, overlooked?
Totally and absolutely. Some companies and some people are better at it, obviously, in helping them see their value and what they are. But you think about it, a guest or someone could have a terrible check-in experience or could struggle making a reservation. And when they arrive at their property and everything is clean and everything is set the way it needs to be, everything is fine. However, the reverse is not true. If they arrive and the property is dirty, that just opens the doors for everything else and just goes downhill from there.
And this is different from a housekeeper at a hotel.
Absolutely, because the principles and techniques at a hotel do not necessarily translate over to cleaning a vacation rental. In a hotel, you don't have multiple kitchens, you don't have multiple levels. You have a maid cart that you can wheel up and down the hallway, all those things. A vacation rental housekeeper has to carry everything in their car and then drop it off and carry it up the stairs and go to work and then gather all their stuff and go back.
And so how did you get involved in this whole thing to start with?
Sure, yeah. I started, it happened on October 1st of 2001 in Park City, Utah. That's the day I became the assistant director of housekeeping for a company called Deer Valley Lodging. And my wife and I, we had lived in southern Utah in the desert, and we were tired of no seasons, and we wanted to leave the warmth. Now we look at that and go, we were just crazy at the time. But we wanted a couple of seasons, 4 to be exact. And so we moved back to northern Utah, and I was just looking for employment, and that's the one that they liked what I had to offer. And so that's where we connected. And I can tell you, after one day on the job in that particular location, I would have changed every single housekeeping department that I had managed up until that point. That's how powerful and strong the systems and techniques and things that I learned just in that 1 9-hour day on the job.
And so that was the beginning of a journey for you.
20 years later, we're still talking housekeeping. We're still cleaning the back of the house and having a great time and connecting with the salt of the earth people of housekeepers and, yes, having a great ride.
And you also have this educational side of your role, which is helping property managers and property owners see the importance of housekeepers and maximize the relationship. And one of your frameworks, if you will, a visual that you use of the house, describe that to those who are listening who don't have it in front of them like I do.
Sure. So one of the key principles that every vacation rental housekeeper or inspector or maintenance tech should have is a systematic way to go through every single property that they encounter so nothing is missed. You know, sometimes you go into a vacation rental or a multiple room property and there's still towels hanging beside the door. There's dirty clothes tucked away in a corner in a closet. And so there's a methodology that I teach and encourage everyone to use called follow the wall. And that can be used in a studio property all the way up to, a 30-bedroom, multi-level vacation home. And by following this process, you see and touch every single location in the home.
And before we get into it, I want to hold you up for one moment. So you've got the visual of the house, which is kind of the overall
framework. And
Yep.
follow the wall sits kind of at the top of the foundation, just below where the house begins.
So, right. So you're talking about what I call my housekeeping building blocks.
Building
and so
blocks.
the housekeeping building blocks is just like you're building a home. There's foundational pieces. So just like on a house, there's a foundation. Housekeeping building blocks. Every single housekeeping department needs to have those things: compliance, training, hiring, whatever the case may be. And as you move further up in a house, as if you were building it to the top of the foundation, and that's where follow the wall sits, because it is a key component in all of the other processes that a housekeeping department does.
And I'd like to share both the building blocks and follow the wall, but I'm now looking at the follow the wall slide, and it's basically a blueprint of a vacation rental, and the rooms are divided up, and there's a little red pathway that sort of squiggles along the entire wall. Is that follow
Yes.
the wall?
So yeah, so that is. So when you think of following the wall, right? So there's a couple of key components in following the wall. The first one is you always end in the kitchen, or as close to the end of the kitchen as you can.
End in the kitchen.
End in the kitchen.
Okay.
Right? Because that's where most of the work is. So we end in the kitchen. And when you do the cleaning process, there's a reason why you end in the end, or end in the kitchen. So first one is always end in the kitchen, or as close to the end as you can. You're going to start at the top of the wall, top corner, and work your way down to the baseboard.
Okay.
Right? You're going to be efficient and judicious about how many times you get on the ground to look underneath the furniture or the chest of drawers or the ottoman or whatever the case may be. And then you're going to create imaginary walls, because if you have an ottoman or a dining room table or an island in the kitchen, if you don't create an imaginary wall, and as you followed the wall around the house, you would miss those items. And so you have to do these four things to ensure that you see and touch every location of the home.
End in the kitchen, start at the top and work down. Be judicious about getting down and looking underneath things, and imaginary walls.
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
Those are the four things.
The four principles of follow
Follow
the wall.
That's correct.
I'd like to take a quick moment to share a little vignette that I keep coming back to. And it's the vacation rental movement like a parade that's coming through town. As independent owners and managers, we can either jump in and join the action, or we can watch it pass by. And as you can hear from this conversation, joining in on the parade means innovating, adopting new technology, and doing things that haven't been done before. This podcast would not be possible without the support of Point Central, a company that epitomizes innovation. Their property automation services like smart locks and smart thermostats allow us to focus on the highest value jobs, in the process delivering a more seamless experience to the people that we work with. Head over to pointcentral.com/VRMB to learn more. That's pointcentral.com/VRMB. Thanks to the Point Central team for their leading role in our proud vacation rental parade. Now let's get back to the show.
And in general, this is something that you can hand over or train a housekeeper to do that will ensure the consistency of the final product.
Correct, because a good vacation rental housekeeper has two characteristics: speed and quality. And the only way you're going to have speed and quality is if I can have a repeatable process that I can do no matter the size of the property. And the follow the wall is that piece to do that, and going through the home in a systematic way every single time. Because the other piece to this is if I'm cleaning in a team, so if you and I were cleaning as a team, then in the follow the wall scenario, I would go to the right, you would go to the left, because the only time a team of housekeepers should be together is when they're making beds or when they meet completing each one of the four steps of the cleaning process. So it allows a consistent pattern to keep everybody on track.
And I'd just like to add that I think we would make a great team,
Well, of course.
you and I.
Of
you
course.
You got the tall parts, I'll get down.
We'll just run right through. Absolutely. Let's go clean a property. I'm ready.
And is this something that when you pass along to a property manager and they implement it, do you hear feedback about this follow the wall?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it allows for, while initially they may say, well, this takes longer or I've got to do this, it eventually allows for that systematic approach, because you want to have a consistent way in a property. You want to not necessarily be on autopilot, but you want to be in a rhythm. So when I go into a property, I can just go and go and go and not have to think.
It also eliminates any miscommunications or issues between you and the housekeepers. Like you can then go back and say, here was the process, was it followed or not, as opposed to I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that you do another good job.
Right, correct. So, going back to the housekeeping building blocks, while follow the wall is at the top of the foundation, right underneath it, there's service standards and standard property appearance, and right above it is the cleaning process. And so it's sandwiched between these two pieces because the standard property appearance is the standard of how I expect the house to be. The follow the wall is the process in which I expect you to go through the home, and the cleaning process is how I expect you to clean the home. That way, each one of those items has a specific objective and a specific goal that the housekeeper is to do. And while follow the wall never stands on its own, I teach it on its own so people get the principle. You will never, ever do follow the wall as follow the wall because it's always used in conjunction with cleaning or inspecting or something else. And so, again, going through the property in this methodology and in this pattern allows you to see and touch everything in the home. I'll touch the back of the doors, the front of the doors. I'll see every corner of the closet. I'll see every drawer, every cabinet. I'll see every deck as I go through this property.
You've put a lot of thought into this.
I have.
I'm going to aim to summarize what I just learned with the hope that you can make any additions or corrections. When you got into the vacation rental industry, you realized very quickly that there was a lot that you could do. And from the building blocks, which sort of lay out the important components of a consistent housekeeping operation, to follow the wall, which is only one piece of that greater building blocks puzzle, you have managed to help property managers close the communication gap with their housekeepers, provide a process, and identify that speed and quality so that there's pretty much no room for misinterpretation. You can scale your businesses, you can be more efficient, and perhaps most importantly, my 4 elements of follow the wall were end with the kitchen, start top to bottom, be judicious, a word that I like, about getting down on your knees and moving stuff around.
And as we get older, that becomes more important.
Being judicious.
On getting down, because then that means you have to get back up, right?
And 4th, creating imaginary walls.
Yes.
Which some people also do that when they get older too, but we're going to be deliberate.
That's a different problem of a different topic of a different day. That's correct.
Accurate summary?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. These kinds of models and frameworks are so important to the industry. So thank you for all the thought that goes in. And I know you attend these sorts of events out of the collective good. So it's very much appreciated.
You're very welcome.
And to close, just a quick reminder of who made this episode possible. It's Point Central, the property automation experts of our industry. Head over to pointcentral.com/VRMB to learn more. And when you use that page, you'll become eligible for free HVAC analytics, which tells managers when the HVAC starts to misbehave before our guests get upset. This also makes property owners happy by taking care of the problem before it becomes too expensive. And if you're feeling cheerful, please also consider writing us a quick review in your podcast app. We read every single one of them, and we pass them along to our esteemed guests. This industry is growing up quickly, my friends. This industry is unlocked.